Great finish between Arizona and Yukon in a top 5 matchup. Arizona up 1, seconds to go. Jaden Bradley, the step through, puts him up 3. He had a game high, 21 points as the Wildcats win this one 71-67. And also, the freshman had a big game in Koa Pete. He dropped in 16 and 12. Moteus Kravas also had 9 and 14. Eric Ryba in place of Terrace Reed dropped 15 points. Soloball at 14. Alex Harbin only 8. As Arizona survived 71-67. Time now to bring in CBS Sports senior men's college basketball writer Matt Norlander, who took in the first top 5 matchup of the year from Gamble Pavilion. And Matt, even though UConn stormed back to take the lead late after being down by 13 in second, it's the upperclassmen, right? Moteus Kravas and Jaden Bradley holding down the fort in those final minutes, final seconds. What did you appreciate about the poise they showed there?
I think this just shows how sturdy Arizona is. And let's be clear, the Wildcats are not a flawless team. They don't shoot it well from deep. On this night, they were just 2 of 10. They do have some weaknesses that'll probably get them eventually. And to Tommy Lloyd's credit, I spoke with him after the game, and he said, I'm so thrilled with how we've been able to start, but there is a lot to go. And this, starting the way we did here with wins over Florida and UCLA and Yukon, that doesn't guarantee us that we're going to look up in January and still be operating like a top 5 kind of team. So Lloyd is pretty grounded overall. But my big takeaway is Bradley. He is playing like one of the best players in all of college basketball. He did not get preseason All-American accolades. And not only that, Jaden Bradley was not nominated and voted to the Big 12's preseason all Big 12 first team, which was 10 players deep. It's one of the most egregious misses in the entire sport. He's such a humble guy. I got a chance to speak with him afterward for a little bit one-on-one as well. And he said the messaging from the coaches and the camaraderie with the locker room and really executing what, like, they go through the scout, they go in prep, and really, fulfilling that to a really honest degree has been reliable from the start. They beat Florida and Vegas with a good Arizona backing there. They beat UCLA and Los Angeles with still plenty of Arizona fans on hand there. But here, there might have been 30 total people in Arizona gear in the stands, and it didn't matter. Once it got really intense, there was a din in this building. Gamble at its best is one of the best arenas in all of college basketball. They were able to pull it out, and just no surprise, Jaden Bradley gets it done late, and he is establishing himself as one of the most reliable late-game players in the entire sport.
Yeah, that's why you trust your upperclassmen, because they've been there and done that. Now for UConn, obviously they're without their freshman star, Braylon Mullins, but more importantly, they were without Terrace Reed, okay? He's a big impact player when you look at, he was leading scorer and leading rebounder, and Arizona out-rebounded, right, the UConn Huskies by 20. So how do you think this game would have been different if Terrace Reed was in the game?
It's funny, Chris. I asked that to Dan Hurley, and I can't quite emulate the look that he gave me when I asked that question. Quite clearly, it would have been a different kind of game. Could have been a different outcome, but that's just what it is. Arizona, Jaden Bradley told me he didn't know, and apologies for the lights going off here. We're doing a hit. I'll try and bring up my light on my computer. They've turned off the lights in Gamble Pavilion, live TV. You've got to love it. Jaden Bradley told me he learned that Terrace Reed would not be playing the game when he looked over in warmups and saw that he wasn't involved. Didn't affect the game plan whatsoever for Arizona's side. For UConn, obviously they had to tinker some stuff. They still haven't had Braylon Mullins back. I'm told that Mullins and Reed, these are not expected to be injuries that are going to keep them out for the long term. Hurley told me he hopes Mullins can come back pretty soon, and frankly, when he does, it's going to change the dynamic of UConn's team overall. So it was a tough defeat for UConn, unquestionably, but once this team is fully healthy, I do think it will maintain a status of what it had going into this game, and that's obviously a top 5 ranking.
And so we're going to get to UConn, like, just looking big picture wise when we think about the top contenders for this year. But how about Koa Pete, man? Second big road test for him, and all he does is throw up 17 and 12 on 50% shooting, a couple blocks. Why did he have the success he had against a Huskies defense that did not make it easy for the squad?
Because he's a relentless player, and you got to add the context of this. Koa Pete does not shoot three-pointers. He doesn't even look for a shot outside of 10, 11 feet, but he is an incredible athlete. The lights are back on. We love to see it. He's an incredible athlete. He knows where to, you know what I'm so impressed with Pete for a freshman? It's not just his strength, which is great. He has a knack for understanding when a shot goes up, how the ball is going to come off the rim and to grab the carom. That's something that might even be preternatural, but he's really, really good at it. Obviously, he's a high name on the scouting report. It's essentially Pete and Bradley that are the two key names to know. And even still, he was able to feast a little bit. He wasn't utterly dominant, but with no Terrace Reed Jr. on the other side, he's going to have plenty of opportunities there. And so because of how well he played and Bradley played, they were by far the two most important players. It has to be said, Arizona is the number one team in college basketball right now. They don't hold that ranking here, but by virtue of winning over number 3 Florida, over number 15 UCLA, and then again over here over number 3 UConn in the third week of the season. No other team has 3 wins against ranked opponents this season, and Arizona has yet to win a game against that high-level competition on its home floor. So in my opinion, Arizona has a right and a claim to be the number 1 team in the country when the AP poll refreshes on Monday.
I will see if the AP reflects your opinions. Now, I gave Mr. Koa Pete 1 extra point. He had 16 points, not 17. Of course, the lights come back on, Matt, because they know you're doing a hit, okay? They want to serve you well. They made a mistake. But big picture-wise, for both of these teams, you kind of alluded to it with UConn, but you see them as true title contenders when it's all said and done. They have all of their pieces?
Oh, for sure. Yes. Because most college basketball fans have never seen Braylon Mullins and what he's capable of, the kind of size he has, how he can really alter things. And actually, he's got a skill set that can really, UConn and Hurley and his staff, they can actually use him in a variety of different kind of lineups there. Once he is on the floor, you are going to see just how higher the ceiling becomes for UConn, let alone when Reed's on the floor. I mean, Terrace Reed Jr., quite clearly, if he's going to be able to stay healthy and return, I was told it was an ankle injury. Just, they weren't going to run him out in a game like this. They want to make sure he's good for the long haul. If Reed can be healthy for the rest of the season, Mullins is what we think he's going to be. Solo ball gets more into a rhythm. This is a player that I voted preseason All-American, third team. He didn't have a great night tonight. Alex Karaban, we know what he's capable of. Just a little more consistency. Yes, UConn, top 5 team in the country. It has that potential. And let's not drift too far away from the fact that on Saturday night, they had a really good game in Boston against a good BYU team. And we saw it, Silas Demery Jr. and Reed and Karaban were all capable in that game. So yes, it's a home loss against a really good Arizona team, but I could see both of these teams playing in Indianapolis for national championship in the final weekend once we get to April.
And that would be box office television. Matt Norlander, always appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And for more content from Matt, check out the Eye on College Basketball podcast, where he and Gary Parrish break down all the storylines going on in the world of college basketball, getting you ready for the season, recruiting, head coaching stories, you name it. They will have you locked in. Download Eye on College Basketball podcast wherever you get them.